We started ScaryMania IV off with a movie from Japan. So let's go back to Japan today to talk about Onibaba, which translates to Demon Hag. Yeah, that is the actual translation. This movie is also called The Hole in certain parts of the country. It's loosely based on a tale from a Shin Buddhist, and it was directed by Kanito Shindo, who directed many a film in his career in Japan. It tells the story of a mother and a daughter-in-law who basically have to live together when they learn that the mother's son and the daughter-in-law's husband, same guy but different relationships, dies during a war, and so they really have nowhere else to go because they live in the middle of nowhere in this very grassy colony, so they have to survive together. All while this war is going on, and they basically have to do everything to survive, including killing soldiers and stealing their possessions and selling them. Good times. When looking up 60s horror for this series, Onibaba was routinely ranked among the best of the decade, and so I decided to give it a shot, even though my relationship with J-horror is limited at best. And I can safely say this is not the best movie, but for like the last 20 minutes of the movie, it's really like tense stuff. It really boils down to these women having to survive alone with literally no one else around them. And they're not exactly big fans of each other. So it's a tension between them and the environment. The environment plays as much into the tension of the movie as does anything else. It almost feels like The Shining, in that The Shining takes place in a hotel in the mountains of Colorado, and the hotel is snowed in. No one's getting anywhere near that hotel for about 5 or 6 months. Same thing with the grassy hut in the Suzuki grass in these marshes of Japan. No one is electively going there. If you end up there, you have certainly made the wrong turn at Albuquerque. Kind of similar to Godzilla, this movie has very big parallels to when the Americans dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The themes are very much there, and while there are no gigantic dinosaurs in this movie, you can definitely understand the war side of things and how it affected pretty much everyone. This movie is very much a slow burn. It's not a scare a minute kind of affair, so I can see why people would write this movie off. However, I was at least interested for the first 2/3, but I was sitting there wondering to myself, when were the scares going to show up? And then the last 20 minutes happened, when the mother-in-law finally goes crazy and dons this getup. Yeah, this definitely gave me chills. And for the last 20 minutes, it's basically the mother-in-law terrorizing the daughter-in-law, or not the mother-in-law, but the mother terrorizing the daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law trying to convince her that she is not this spirit of the Suzuki grass. She's just been alone for far too long. And there's a great scene where she tries to get the mask off of her face and she can't. It's almost like the mask is stuck on there. Even though this movie was shot in black and white, it looks absolutely stellar. There's a lot of sequences that I would say are some of the first of its kind. This is one of the first horror movies that I can remember in this era to use slow motion. And slow motion is a movie that, or not a movie, but a trope that would be used in movies going forward. But this is the first horror movie from this era that I remember using slow motion. And I'm sure there are other examples, but it's one of the first that I can recall. And at the end of the day, I give this one a modest recommendation. It is more reliant on atmosphere than anything else, but if you are looking for something different, then Onibaba is definitely going to be for you.